Today, we're going to talk about something that's, well, at the very core of what it means to be in charge of your own life. We often think of leadership as managing other people or big projects, right? But what if I told you the most important leadership role you'll ever have is right inside your own head? It all starts with learning how to listen to your own thinking.
And this quote right here, this is the heart of it all. So many of us feel like we're just characters, acting out a script that was written for us a long, long time ago. A story dictated by our past, our old habits, all those beliefs we didn't even know we had. But here's the game-changing idea. What if you could just pick up the pen and start writing your own story? That's what we're digging into.
All right, so before we can become the author of our new story, we've got to get to know the force that's been writing the old one. And look, this isn't some enemy out there in the world, it's an internal thing, a force we're going to call the autopilot villain.
So, who is this autopilot villain? It's not some evil dude with a cape. It's actually your own nervous system, just stuck in survival mode. It's that deep, unconscious programming that's just trying to keep you safe by keeping you exactly the same. The problem is, it keeps you stuck in those old patterns, even when they're totally draining your energy and holding you back.
I mean, does this sound familiar at all? That feeling like you're your own worst enemy? That sense that you're stuck in a loop, hitting the same wall, getting the same frustrating results over and over again? Yep, that's the autopilot villain at work, just reinforcing that old story you're so ready to leave behind. And this is how it operates. It's this vicious cycle called the energy drain chain. It all kicks off with a limiting belief. Maybe something like, I'm not good enough. That belief sparks a ton of distracting thoughts. Those thoughts stir up all these chaotic, unhinged feelings, which then push you to take unwanted actions. And those actions, they almost always lead to negative results, which, you guessed it, just proves that original limiting belief was right all along. It's a perfect, self-fulfilling trap.
Okay, but here's where things start to change. This is the turning point. Because once you see how that chain reaction works, you also discover the secret to breaking it. And that secret, it's understanding that your words, the ones you say inside your own head, are the blueprints for your entire life.
Think about it. Every single thought, every bit of your internal self-talk, it's like a line being drawn on an architectural blueprint. These words aren't just random noise. No way. They are actively, literally, building your identity, shaping your actions, and in the end, creating all of your results.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the villain's blueprint, that whole energy-draining mess we just talked about. But check out the right side. That's the author's blueprint. We can literally reverse engineer the whole process. We can swap out those limiting beliefs for powerful, defining beliefs. Those build courageous attitudes, which create enlightening feelings, leading to anchored intentional actions, and finally, to the positive outcomes we actually want.
So this is it. This is the moment we stop being a passive character in the story and start becoming the active architect of our own inner world. It's about grabbing the pen and consciously drawing up our own blueprints.
It's the big question, isn't it? If this villain has been running the show for so long, how in the world do you actually fire them and take over the construction site of your own life?
Well, it all starts with these really fundamental acts of self-leadership. First, you just listen. You actually start paying attention to that voice in your head. Then, you notice those thoughts, but without judging them. Then, and this is key, you make a conscious choice. You reject those old, tired narratives, and you intentionally choose new words, the new blueprints that are going to build the future you really want. You pick up the pen.
So let's get practical. Let's look at a real framework for doing this. And I want you to think of it less like a battle and more like a renovation project for your mind, broken down into 3 clear phases.
This analogy is just perfect, right? I mean, you would never just start knocking down walls in your house without looking at the old blueprints first. You've got to see what's supporting the structure, and frankly, what's rotting away. It's the exact same thing with your mind. You have to understand the old code before you can successfully rewrite it.
So here's the plan. Phase 1 is all about the foundations. You're studying those original blueprints, figuring out what's really going on in there. Phase 2, the 21-day reset. This is the fun part. This is demo day and construction. You're actively tearing down the old patterns and installing the new architecture. And then you've got Phase 3, the 30-day lock-in. This is like the move-in period. You live in this newly renovated inner space until it stops feeling different and just becomes home.
And you know what the best part is? This isn't some huge, all-consuming project that's going to take over your life. We're talking about 5 to 15 minutes a day. That's it. The whole key here isn't trying to be perfect. It's just about being present. It's about showing up for yourself consistently to do the work.
Okay, so what does life actually look like on the other side of this renovation? What's the real payoff for all this internal work?
The end goal, the whole point of this, is something called the identity shift. This is that magic moment when this new intentional way of thinking stops being a chore you have to remember to do. It just becomes your new default setting. It's not what you do anymore, it's just who you are. And when that shift happens, you get your agency back. The autopilot villain, evicted. Your inner world is finally run by its rightful owner, you. That constant energy drain gets replaced by an energy bank. You're operating from a place of overflow, and you are, finally, the conscious author of your life.
I just love this quote because it captures the feeling so perfectly. That old programming, it was a weight holding you down. But the new programming, your new story, it's a different kind of weight. It's a powerful force that actually lifts you up and pivots you toward who you were always meant to be.
So we end right back where we started. But now, the question is for you. The pen is officially in your hand. You are the author. So, what happens next?